Notre devoir face à l'urgence climatique. Le récent volume du 6e rapport du GIEC confirme la responsabilité des activités humaines dans l'accélération des impacts dus au changement climatique. Et d'autre part, le rapport conjoint publié en juin dernier par le GIEC et par l'IPBES démontre l'impérieuse nécessité d'aborder conjointement la crise du climat et celle de la biodiversité. Pour aborder ces enjeux, je donne la parole à M. Kyriakos Mitsotakis, Premier ministre de la République hellénique, pour qu'il nous apporte son témoignage à partir d'exemples touchant l'ensemble des pays du pourtour méditerranéen. Monsieur le Premier ministre.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Monsieur le Président, Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Dear Mayor, it is a great pleasure to be with you here today in the city of Marseille, which was founded by Greeks from Phocaea 2,600 years ago. At a time, I guess, when climate change was not a pressing concern for our ancestors. But the truth is that the Mediterranean Mare Nostrum, our sea, is facing today a crisis. And we need to be honest that as leaders we have not done enough up to now to avert this crisis. And now is the time to change this. The action plan, the Mediterranean, a model sea by 2030, that was presented earlier today by the French government, rightly focuses on what I consider to be the 4 key challenges for protecting our very unique marine environment: biodiversity loss, unsustainable fishing, marine pollution, especially from plastics, and unsustainable marine transport. We endorse it, and Mr. President, we commit to becoming a champion for the full implementation of the EU's nature conservation legislation. My country, Greece, has more than 14,000 kilometers of coastline. We are a country inextricably linked historically, culturally, economically, socially to the Mediterranean Sea. And by protecting the biodiversity of our seas, we are transitioning to a blue economy. We are harnessing the advantages of a new balance between economic growth, social cohesion, and sustainability. Very quickly, let me talk about 6 actions that I think are important to highlight here, actions that are of particular relevance to Greece, but I believe to all countries of the Mediterranean. First, we do commit to the goal of protecting 30% of the Mediterranean by 2030. And beyond the ambition to protect 30% of marine and coastal areas, we must work also together with the Commission to ensure that marine protected areas, or MPAs, are no longer paper parks. We must aim for effectively managed networks of MPAs with defined conservation measures. Second, an issue which is frequently overlooked, the issue of marine spatial planning and integrated coastal management. We commit today to the prioritization, development, and implementation of marine spatial plans for all Greek seas under our National Recovery and Resilience Plan, which we call Greece 2.0. And this means following an ecosystem-based approach in line with integrated coastal zone management supported by the best available science. Third, on fisheries. Greece, like all Mediterranean countries, is facing serious challenges around overfishing. And we know that this significantly impacts biodiversity. We commit strongly to reduce overfishing by 2030 by declaring that by that date, 10% of our seas will be no-take reserves, meaning that fishing will not be permitted there by 2030. Fourth, Greece is the largest EU producer of farmed sea bass and sea bream, and we acknowledge the need to establish a sustainable aquaculture action plan addressing key challenges such as spatial planning, potential frictions with other marine and coastal users, including tourism, but also the issue of environmental pollution. And fifth, as a country that is heavily dependent on tourism, it is important that we take all the necessary actions to ensure that the development and expansion of our tourism sector, which is so critical for the well-being of the Greek economy, does not come at the expense of our natural environment. We therefore commit to the development of a sustainable tourism strategy that effectively addresses the environmental footprint of tourism and places biodiversity considerations at the heart of marine and coastal tourism planning, especially when it comes to extremely sensitive local communities such as our smaller islands. And sixth, we all know the threat posed by plastic pollution for our region and for our seas. Greece, therefore, adopts the ambitious target to improve water quality by 2030 by reducing waste plastic litter at sea by 50% and microplastic released to the environment by 30%. And I have one last pledge from our side. Greece commits to become a champion for the full implementation of the European Union's nature conservation legislation, something that unfortunately, in not achieving, cost our country a recent ruling by the EU Court of Justice. And I personally commit that the protection designation status of all Natura 2000 sites will be completed by the end of 2022 through a fully transparent and inclusive process. Let me conclude, ladies and gentlemen, by saying that as part of our firm commitment to this mission, Greece will have the pleasure of chairing the IUCN initiative in 2023, while putting the protection of the Mediterranean marine environment, but also our forests, at the center of our discussions during the upcoming Euromed9 summit, which will take place in Athens. And taking into consideration that this is a crucial year, both for climate ambition and for biodiversity, we need to focus all our efforts on a successful conclusion of COP26 and on ambitious post-2020 global biodiversity framework, which should constitute important milestones. Fully supporting the EU's ambitions regarding our 2030 target and our 2050 target, Greece is already adopting bold measures for the reduction of green gas emissions, increasing the share of renewables in our energy mix, improving energy efficiency, and our most important declaration is that we commit to phase out all our lignite power plants, the latest by 2028. And we're proceeding with a submarine electricity interconnection to our islands, mainly the Aegean and Crete, and we're actively promoting electromobility. And of course, last but not least, we have also launched a national reforestation plan. We did that before the recent destructive wildfires, which highlighted the need for more European cooperation, both at the level of prevention, but also at the level of intervention, once these devastating fires actually break out. And we are planning to present the first national climate law to Parliament before COP26 to further boost our deforestation path by involving all sectors of the economy. Mesdames et Messieurs, Monsieur le Président, le développement durable ne peut pas être atteint en agissant seul. Notre ambition commune de préservation de nos écosystèmes exige une coopération étroite de tous les pays de la Méditerranée. Les fuites du carbone ou les fuites des déchets marins seront toujours là si nous n'agissons pas de manière coordonnée. Nous partageons tous les pays de la Méditerranée, un destin commun. Et chacun de nous doit prendre part à cet effort afin d'offrir un monde plus durable aux générations à venir. Je vous remercie. Thank you very much.
Merci. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Premier ministre, pour tous ces exemples concrets, ces engagements très forts que vous avez pris, qui montrent le lien, encore une fois, entre le climat et la biodiversité, et notamment sur un écosystème aussi fragile et aussi spécifique que l'écosystème méditerranéen. Vous avez à plusieurs reprises appelé à une coopération, et notamment au sein de l'Union européenne. Et donc, je vais laisser la parole